Ever found yourself pondering? If the woman in question is the one who has already, perhaps someone is secretly interested in you. She also looks at you for a little moment, lengthy, apprehensive smiles in your presence, or finds reasons to run into you everywhere. You see, it's almost subtle, invisible, but it raises questions. Is there more? This is the reality. If a woman in a relationship begins to develop sentiments, she will not make it for someone else. She will undoubtedly conceal it, even from herself. However, despite her best efforts, her heart betrays her in small ways, clear indications that evade detection. The cracks that most men overlook entirely or dismiss them as, "It's a coincidence that you're going there," hold the upper hand and remain there for indicators 6 and N, as those two will. To be very clear, this is 10. She is interested in you despite the forbidden indicators. She has taken notice since this might alter anything, including her voice. Becomes unbearable in your presence. Here's a secret. Most people won't notice the variations in her voice when the woman speaking to you is not publicly flirting with someone who's already taken you, but it's in her small changes. Tone in which the truth becomes apparent when she talks to you, her voice may become softer, warming more slowly, or perhaps more. It's her who is inviting. It's not random, subconsciously attempting to get nearer to you. Now compare it to her voice, surrounding her spouse or other people that are with them. She may be louder, more formal or remote, but there's a connection with you, serenity and kindness that weren't present previously. And did you notice that she laughs, greater as you're present, even at the most ridiculous or commonplace items? It's about you, not the joke. She uses laughing to build a relationship. Hidden relationship that persists between your conversational lines are profitable. Observe how she speaks in order to pull you in. Does she lower it, forcing you to bend over in order to catch her statements? Or perhaps she taunts you with. Her tone was stretched playfully as she said something that has the impression that these subtle hints are intended just for you. How she expresses interest without her voice is pushing the envelope. The point at which the walls begin to collapse is gentle, hospitable, and infused with curiosity. She may not even be aware that she's stating if you hear the shift. It's an indication that she may already sense something more profound, even though she hasn't stated she's being subtle, and it's outright 9, but unstoppable adjustments made just for you. The problem with a woman falling particularly for you, given that she's already taken, she won't engage in overt behavior. She will instead leave a path of subtly but significant hints are among the most revealing indications of a subtle change in her appearance. Perhaps she begins wearing garments that flawlessly fit her figure, or a bold shade of lipstick. She's never worn something like it before. She abruptly began donning a appealing new scent, or displaying an exquisite jewelry item. These little, however significant adjustments are her method of catching your attention, and especially you're observing her body. Language may also reveal her identity to you. Observe her softly arranging her hair, changing her attire, or even just a little stroking her neck every time you are in close proximity. These motions aren't arbitrary. They're unconscious methods for creating your pay attention to her, but hold on. More than simply her appearance, watch her responses to other females in your closeness. A trace of jealousy or a protective. When a woman approaches too closely, look communicates volumes to you. It's not just regarding her desire to draw you in, it's regarding her desire to maintain your delicate attention to her and her alone. Yes, but she's completely displaying 8 tries to get close to you. When a lady is taken, she might not tell anyone about it. Feelings directly, but her behavior will speak loudly if she is interested in you. She will carefully craft excuses to cross. Perhaps she times her coffee based on your path, breaks to fit your schedule, requests your assistance with a simple task, or just tends to appear in locations where she knows that it won't be luck or coincidence, it's deliberate compensation. She pays attention to the little things, tend to approach you more during group settings, selecting the seat next to you without thinking, or perhaps she lingers a bit longer, following a discussion, standing there as the others go about their walks. Putting these small, intentional acts aside, express her actual emotions, even if she says nothing about what romance is about. Against all odds, finding someone attractive, and occasionally these small prohibited signs of wrestling include gestures. Considering her feelings, these actions feel too reliable to disregard. You might simply be more important to her than she's allowing 7 minor physical contact. Physical contact can be challenging and delicate area, particularly if she's in a partnership. But when a woman is growing fond of you, she could carefully examine the limits with little, seemingly innocuous actions, such as touches are almost never unintentional. They're intentional actions with a deeper message, even if it's subliminal. She might, for example, delicately brush her, placing a hand on your arm while exchanging it to get your attention, giggle and tap your shoulder, focus, or place her fingers on yours. For a brief period of time while highlighting a topic in a discussion, these exchanges may appear informal on the surface, but they're actually her way of coming up with small justifications to establish a relationship with you without being explicitly. It's how she connects the tangible distance between the two of you while maintaining pay attention to these in a delicate and secure manner. Are they occurring more commonly in ease? The closer you look while you're around, the more you see her touch, the more remains little longer than essential, or maybe it's coupled with a kind grin or sustained eye contact. At its heartfelt message is among the most private methods to connect, and if she's willing to let you in on those moments, it says a lot about how she feels. Even if she's reserving, because of her, these small gestures in the current situation represent her developing emotional bond. It's her way of saying, with you, I'm attracted to you without overtly crossing bounds. Be aware of these indicators, and you possibly observing someone's unsaid feelings seep through in the most vulnerable and her charming manner. 6. Whenever she's present, you observed that her entire attitude changed when pay close attention to her while you're around. Behavior, it could disclose more than. When a woman shows interest in you, you believe she can't always conceal it, despite her best efforts. She occasionally gets more animated, could find your jokes more hilarious. Regardless of how cheesy they are or how she smiles remains little longer when you're during the talk. It seems as though your presence makes her feel better on the inside, and she can't resist giving off a little more light surrounding you, yet it's not always about large, obvious gestures. Sometimes it can be found in the small adjustments. Maybe she gets her act together and carries herself a little more assuredly when she is aware that you are observing. Or perhaps she modifies her voice to seem quieter and cooler, and gathered quite excessive compensation, but yet hoping that you will take notice of her. However, with effort, she could even act aloof or even chilly toward you. Why I'm experiencing such a strong fear? She is enmeshed in an emotional whirlwind's attempt to keep her quiet interest. Due to her present relationship, these changes in her actions are rarely arbitrary, and she smiles, the softening of her voice, or even she laughs with an anxious edge, and they're all indications of an internal conflict, whether or not she is bending toward her emotions or attempting to ignore them. It's a feeling she frequently cannot regulate when you're present. Every alteration provides insight about how you make her feel, which says a lot more. Words might be able to open her eyes. Be honest when a woman begins falling in love with you, particularly if she's perhaps attempting to suppress those emotions due to the fact that she is already dating. Frequently, her eyes say more than words. Words. Carefully observe how does she glance at you for a long time? A bit longer than necessary if she maintains eye contact for longer than a brief few seconds that aren't anything to dismiss as arbitrary or unintentionally even more illuminating is how have you noticed her as she looks at you? Eyes moving in a particular pattern. She's staring into your left eye right now. Then you're correct, and her eyes abruptly drips to your lips. This is known as the triangle method, is an act that is subconscious. What people do when they are drawn to this non-verbal gesture says it all for someone, even though she isn't expressing her emotions into words, but her eyes speak louder. You might capture her, or she might sparkle. Dilation of the pupils when you're in conversing or simply sitting close by. These are physiological cues that are involuntary, that occur when someone has intense feelings, intrigued or thrilled by your presence. Signs that her body is unable to conceal, no matter how hard she could strive to hold on to her feelings behind the scenes. And this is the kicker group. Environments can be particularly letting her know that she might not look directly in front of others to maintain. She keeps her interest a secret, but listen to her looks when the two of them are alone. At that moment, her eyes move away from careless to deliberate, from cautious to close. Her gaze focuses on yours as though, for an instant, the rest of the world vanishes. Her voice might add additional layers at any time. Her eyes are yours, yet to these clues, largest insight into her emotions, even if she's already taken, if she's into you. Her eyes will definitely reveal that there is no denying the chemistry seething underneath. Keep an eye on the surface, pun intended. 4. She asks insightful inquiries, and you saw her departing with the superficial conversations and moving directly for the deep things a woman interested in. You'll want to, even if she's already taken. Establish a sentimental bond that sets. Unlike the others, she's not only going to limit myself to casual or small talk. Instead, she will ask you insightful questions. Questions that show your true self. Perhaps she wants to know about your dreams or aspirations, or maybe she's curious. Your perspective on relationships and life objectives, or what inspires you if she asks feel considerate and intimate, but it's not. Does she want to know about your background, random? What influenced you as a child? Perhaps she recalls the person you are now. A small thing that you mentioned briefly then brings it up later as though it happened weeks ago. No, it's stuck with her. Coincidental when someone is feeling invested, they keep those tiny fragments of you, utilizing them to construct what's even more fascinating bond, is deeper, is the ease with which she appears to may present it all as harmless curiosity. However, if you pay, her intentions are obvious. Focus, she's building a bridge. One serious question between the two of you. This isn't just casual at this moment. Interest that is sincere and purposeful. Lastly, her attempt to establish a connection emotionally could be shown in the way she displays herself, regardless of whether it's the way she dresses or styles her hair. She decides that her appearance might unconsciously support her wish to catch your eye. She's not only using words to communicate to your heart, but she might be attempting to get your attention. Along the route, be mindful of these depths. Conversations could be her method of articulating what she is unable to completely say. 3 of her micro-reactions out loud of jealousy is one of the most common emotions, revealing indications of emotion for you, despite the fact that they're attempting to conceal it so you won't notice it initially. However, if you listen to her subtle, nearly automatic responses when another woman enters the discussion, her feelings may reveal everything. You must know how to bring up a coworker. With informal acquaintance may even bring up a celebrity, regardless of who it is, as watch carefully if it's another woman. Does her smile momentarily flicker? Do her eyes narrow a little? Her tone changed or her countenance tightened as she asks nonchalantly, "Oh, who are you?" Unconsciously, women may fidget, arms, or turn away to conceal their sentiments. Others might interpret as light-hearted but revealing strategy. Maybe they'll make a caustic remark that makes fun of your women with dubious tastes, or make fun of it. These tiny micro-reactions are frequently unintentionally disclosing more than she meant for what they display to be, that on a certain level she experiences emotional linked to you, and not totally at ease with the notion of you focusing on someone else's jealousy, no matter how minor, frequently originates from investment if she didn't think you were important. Alternatively, her position in your life would be she has very little cause to react. However, those little slips that show up are a definite sign of emotional. The best element of these indicators is attachment. Frequently surpass her responses to activities that come after such moments will provide you with some hints on the casual, subtle jokes to guide your check-in, return attention to her, or make an effort to remind. When you're around her, she's probably feeling more for you than she's willing to acknowledge. Even if she makes an effort to appear calm, keeping an eye on her jealousy could be the sweetest unspoken admission. 2. Her nonverbal cues convey more information than even while she's attempting to play it. Her cold demeanor could be providing. The allure is frequently exposed. In her delicate gestures, she doesn't even recognize that she's creating this for you. Must pay attention while you speak. Does she slant slightly closer? Despite the fact that there is ample space, is she feet pointing in your direction despite her entire physique isn't this tiny? Unconscious cues reveal where her true. Concentrate on yourself and pay attention to these clues as her body could be expressing. She doesn't seem nervous about whatever she says. Another indicator that she fidgets is her energy. In your presence, she plays with her hair or modifies her attire. It's a powerful indication that she is conscious of your presence and seeks to appear her best for you. These are the times when her feelings fail to show the surface and demonstrate her level of concern regarding your perception of her. And then there's private space, or in her situation, the absence of it if she moves toward your space or looks for ways to bring about light touches smoothly, even with a light brush. Of hands or light-hearted taps on the arm, she's probably putting waters to the test. Touches are intentional rather than haphazard. Actions designed to make you both feel out. Body language, both literally and figuratively, can be challenging to read. However, once you understand, the indicators are obvious, so she knows what to look for. Though she might not say it aloud, her actions speak for themselves, so we'll go on to another clear physical signal. Get in touch with one that she cares about. One of the most telling indicators in you that she is interested in you, even if she is in the emotional vitality of a partnership. She fills you up, and you'll see that her focus on you seems different, perhaps even exceptionally intimate, or eventually she begins displaying an involvement in your life that goes beyond casual discussions or superficial exchanges, from really checking in on how your day unfolded, keeping in mind the brief information about your interests and aspirations. Regarding difficulties, it's evident that you've become a significant figure in her life. She'll go above and above to support you during important times, providing sincere expressions of assistance and inspiration. Perhaps she gives you a considerate good luck text prior to a major day, or visits you when she is aware of you're depressed or under stress. Words have a tenderness and concern that indicates her deep commitment to your joy is very profound. An emotional bond says 1,000 words, frequently begins with the small things, inside jokes, surprising counsel, or even simply a unique manner she engages with. Pay attention to how you compare to other people. The brightness of her eyes while she's speaking to you, or the fervent manner in which when you're expressing your heart, they listen. These instances are how she expresses you that she's becoming more emotionally aligned, more with you than with anybody else. Even though she has not yet completely articulated it, when a woman turns her emotional attention to someone, rarely does it by accident. Occurs as a result of her feeling something strong. You have a magnetic quality, and that emotional bond could be extremely, maybe the beginning of something extraordinary, even though she hasn't acknowledged it yet.